A warm welcome, students. Today we're going to have a lecture video on the most trending topic, nutraceuticals and functional foods. So particularly, I'm going to elaborate on the topic, the classification of nutraceuticals and functional foods. Myself, Ms. Bhagya, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Food and Nutrition, Bishopur College, Trichy. So without any further delay, let's get into the video. Let's start with a brief history about the nutraceuticals and functional foods. The original idea in this concept goes back 3000 years ago. So Hippocrates, who is a Greek physician and well recognized father of modern medicine, stated the famous quote called, "Let food be the medicine and medicine be the food," to predict the relationship between the appropriate foods for health and their therapeutic benefits. The truth in this saying is widely recognized today as in the name of nutraceuticals and functional foods. In the early 90s, food manufacturers in the United States began adding iodine to salt in an effort to prevent goiter. And this is representing one of the first attempts at creating a functional component through fortification in the concept of nutraceuticals and functional foods. Today, researchers have identified hundreds of compounds with functional qualities, and they continue to make new discoveries surrounding the complex benefits of phytochemicals in foods. For example, isoflavin, flavonoids, and phenolic acids. And let's start with the introduction. The term nutraceutical was coined by combining the terms nutrition and pharmaceutical in the year of 1989 by Dr. Stephen D. Fullis, who was the chairman of the Foundation for Innovation in Medicine, shortly called as FIM. So nutraceutical is any substance that may be considered a food or part of a food and provides a medical or health benefits, encompassing prevention and treatment of diseases. Such products may range from isolated nutrients, dietary supplements, designer fruits, herbal products, processed foods such as cereals, soups, and beverages. Presently, over 470 nutraceutical and functional food products are available with documented health benefits, and this was the data based on the study in understanding the terminologies. So what is called the functional foods? Functional food in the sense natural or processed foods mostly are natural food that contain known or unknown biologically active compounds, and these food is defined effective and non-toxic, and amount has some function beyond the traditional nutrient it contains. So nutraceuticals are those that are intended to prevent diseases. So nutraceutical is any substance that may be considered a food or part of a food and provides a medical or health benefits, encompassing prevention and treatment of diseases. So chemical components of foods when ingested in appreciable amount demonstrate attributes such as good availability, bioefficacy, and exert positive effect on health categorized by disease prevention and elevation. The next, pharmaceuticals may be considered as drug used mainly to treat disease. Pharmaceuticals are the substances which have patent protection as a result of expensive testing to conform the specification of respective governments. So next move on to the classification of functional foods, our major topic. So functional food is basically classified into three heads, namely whole foods, fortified or enriched foods, and finally the enhanced foods. So what is the whole food and what comes under this category means the whole foods are foods which have not been processed much and which have not had artificial ingredients added. So you can get it in the fresh form itself, which can be consumed freshly or either by cooking. Contains bioactive components which helps in enhancing the quality of life by means of health. So nothing deep, the whole food in the sense the food you consume in the fresh format without any further addition of artificial ingredients or preservatives. So components of whole foods. So what are the components which are present in the whole foods when we analyze them? So here are the table. components like lycopene, which is present in the source tomato and watermelon, and has a potential benefits of reducing some risk of some cancer. Lutein and zeaxanthin, which is present in the kale, collard, spinach, corn, and egg, and helps in maintaining healthy vision, and it supports the vision. And whole grains contains cereal grains, reduces risk for CHD, that is coronary heart disease and cancer. Beta carotene, which is present in the carrots, which is a classic example, helps in antioxidant defense and gets involved in the antioxidant mechanism. And insoluble fiber, which is present in the wheat bran, maintain the healthy metabolism of gastrointestinal tract. When your diet is rich in the insoluble fiber, so your GI tract will appear like a healthy state. So these are some of the classical components which are present in the whole foods. And next move on to the enriched foods. So enriched foods have nutrients added back them when it is lasted during processing. So we people consuming lots and lots of processed food stuff nowadays, right? So some sort of nutrients gets lost during the processing. So to counteract that losses, here comes the enriched foods. So in the enriched foods, the nutrients which are lost during processing gets added back after the processing. Okay, for example, grain enrichment nutrients includes thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, iron, and folate, and these are the some of the popular micronutrients which are added in the foods and comes under the term called as enriched foods. Enriched foods is nothing but the nutrients which are lost during processing is added back to them after processing. And thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, iron, and folate are some of the classical micronutrients and well-known and popular micronutrients which are added in the foods, especially in the processed foods. So the last classification of functional food is fortified foods. Fortified foods have nutrients added that may not have been presented in the original food. For example, vitamin A, milk and margarine, calcium in orange juice, and microminerals in breakfast cereals. So fortified in nutrients is nothing but you are just increasing the proportion of the nutrients which is not present or which is already present over there. So you are just increasing the concentration of the particular nutrients to the product. For example, so vitamin A fortified milk and margarine, and calcium fortified orange juices, microminerals enriched breakfast cereals are the classic examples. A well-known example is orange juice, that is the calcium fortified orange juice, which is commonly consumed in the Western people than the Asian population. So the last one is enhanced foods, the foods that have ingredients added that are not vitamins and minerals. So here the enhancement means the enhanced food refers to not simply adding the nutrients or nutrients to the particular foodstuff. Here the enhancement refers to the cooking quality. So cooking quality of the particular food is enhanced before. So for example, soups and tea with added herbs, cereal with added xylem, margarine with added plant sterol and stanol esters. For example, why the margarine is added with the plant sterol is, sterol is nothing but it's a kind of fat which is present in the plant. We people humans have cholesterol, right? So likewise the plant has sterols which is good for humans. It has not it has no it has nothing wrong to play in a human body, so it has no disadvantages over the human consumption, so it is kept enhanced in with margarine. So these are all called enhanced foods, the foods that have ingredients added that are not vitamins and minerals. When the food is added with some other products other than the vitamins and minerals, then it is called as enhanced foods. For example, soups and teas with added herbs, green tea or herbal tea is a classic example for enhanced foods, and these are the classification of what the functional foods. Okay, when we enter into the classification of nutraceuticals, we have three classification, or the classification of nutraceuticals is put under the three heads, namely the food source, mechanism of action, and chemical nature. So based on this type only, the nutraceuticals have been classified. So first starts with the food sources. So when we analyze the sources of nutraceuticals, the three things will strike in the mind. They are: once the nutraceuticals can be derived from the animal source, or the plant source, or the microbial source. We have only three sources for the nutraceuticals. The animal sources includes, and these are obtained from animals directly or indirectly, and it includes conjugated linoleic acids, eicosapentaenoic acid, that is the EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid, that is DHA, sphingolipids, and choline, lecithin, calcium, ubiquinone, selenium, and zinc. So out of this, the sphingolipids are involved in the central nervous system function. So it maintains the normality and or enhances the function of the nerves which are involved in the central nervous system, and choline, which are involved in the lipid transport. So proper transmission of the lipid throughout the body is facilitated by the choline. So the choline you can derive from the nutraceuticals, that too from the animal sources. So zinc you can get it from the seafoods, and these are the animal sources of nutraceuticals. When we enter into the plant sources, that is called as phytochemicals, the beta-glucan, ascorbic acid, nor dihydrocapsaicin, we can get it from the capsicum, alpha-tocopherol, selenium, quercetin. Quercetin you get from the apple, zeaxanthin, luteolin, cellulose, lutein, gallic acid, prelyl alcohol, enol-3-carbonyl, pectin, lignin, diazin, geranyl, glutathione, capsaicin, potassium, betoinon, allicin, alpha-tocopherol, D-lemonone, beta-carotene. D-lemonone is derived from the lemon, and beta-carotene obviously you know it's derived from the carrot and yellow dark green vegetables and fruits, and genistein, lycopene, hemicellulose. And these are the sources of nutraceuticals from the plant, that is called as phytochemicals. So next move on to the microbial sources, which is also called as mycochemicals. So when we think about the sources of nutraceuticals from the microbial aspects, Saccharomyces boulardii is inevitable. It is a kind of yeast, or it's a type of yeast which is most popular among the baking industry. Some Bifidobacterium bifidum, Bifidobacterium longum, Bifidobacterium infantis, and Lactobacillus acidophilus, Streptococcus salvarius. So these are the commonly and predominantly popular sources of nutraceutical from the microbial aspects, that is the mycochemicals. So when we enter into the classification of nutraceuticals, so based on the mechanism of action, it's quite important because it's directly associated with your therapeutic line of your body. So out of the classification, that is the animal source or plant sources, mechanism action of nutraceuticals is considered much more important than other classifications, because it's directly associated with your health issues and your metabolism. So how it's going to work in your body, so these are all going to see in this video. Let's continue. So classification based on mechanism of action is anti-cancer, hypolipidemic, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and finally osteogenetic, that is related to the bone health. The mechanism of action of nutraceutical starts with anti-cancer mechanism. The nutraceutical substances that protect against cancer are termed as anti-cancer. The nutraceutical component influences at many stages of carcinogen promotion and progression of cancer. So the bioactive component which is responsible for the anti-cancer activity of particular nutraceutical are quoted here. They are capsaicin, sphingolipids, genistein, limonene, diazin, ajonin, diallyl sulfide, tocotrienol, enrolactone, conjugated linoleic acid, equal lactobacillus, curcumin, acidophilus, salicylic acid, and lutein. And these are the bioactive components which is responsible for the anti-cancer activity of the nutraceuticals. So next one is hypolipidemic. It helps in improving serum lipid profile by reducing total cholesterol, triglyceride, low density lipoprotein cholesterol, and improving high density lipoprotein cholesterol level, and thereby protecting against cardiovascular diseases. So, and these overall function is facilitated by the bioactive components which is presented in the nutraceuticals. They are quercetin, omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid, resveratrol, beta sitosterol, and saponins. And these are the bioactive components which infer the hypolipidemic activity to the nutraceuticals. So next, the antioxidant activity of the nutraceuticals. The antioxidants are substances that neutralizes the free radicals or their action at difficult levels of prevention, interception, and repair. So evidences from the studies reports that antioxidants lower the incidence of various diseases. So what are all the bioactive components which are responsible for such antioxidant activity of the nutraceuticals are quoted here. They are CLC or CLA, that is called as conjugated linoleic acid, ascorbic acid, which is also called as vitamin C, and beta carotene, which is commonly found in the carrot and dark yellow green vegetables, alpha tocopherol, polyphenols, tocopherols, tocotrienols, ellagic acid, lycopene, and lutein. So these are all the bioactive components which is responsible for the antioxidant activities of the nutraceuticals. So next was the anti-inflammatory property or the mechanism, anti-inflammatory mechanism. The inflammation plays a key role in progression of many diseases including rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, atherosclerosis, and so on. So nutraceutical substances that protect against inflammation is known as anti-inflammatory. So when a substance is produced or give you a relief from the inflammation, then it is termed as the anti-inflammatory property. So when the nutraceutical process, it is only because of the bioactive compounds, which includes the linoleic acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, that is EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid, that is DHA, capsaicin, which is the bioactive components which is present in the capsicum, quercetin, which is present in the apples, and curcumin, which is the bioactive component present in the spices called turmeric. So these are all the anti-inflammatory property of nutraceuticals. And the final is osteogenetic. Osteogenetic substances protect the bone health. So when the substances protect the balance or overall health of your bone, then it is termed as osteogenetic health benefits. And nutraceuticals are found to be play well in this aspect. It plays a vital role in bone formation or prevent bone loss, thereby improves the bone health. So what the nutraceuticals done regarding the bone health means, it maintains the balance between the rate of bone formation and the rate of bone loss. So it maintains the balance between the two ratios, so that it will be your body won't be affected by the bone loss or bone mass. So this is about the osteogenetic property of the nutraceuticals. So the nutraceutical attain this osteogenetic property only because of what? The biotic components which is present in it, which is namely the conjugated linoleic acid, soy protein, genistein, quercetin, diaxin, and primarily calcium. So these are the classification of nutraceuticals based on the mechanism of action. So when we go on for the classification based on the nature, it is divided into majorly 6 parts. They are isoprenoid derivatives, phenolic acid substances, fatty acid and structural lipids, amino acid based substances, microbes, and minerals. So isoprenoid derivatives means the isoprenoids and terpenoids are the terms that are used to the same class of molecules. These substances are the largest group of secondary metabolites, and this group is also referred to as isoprenoid derivatives because the building block molecule is isoprene. So why it is called as isoprenoid derivative means this molecule is basically or primarily composed of the isoprene molecules. So that is called as isoprenoid derivatives. So what are all the bioactive components it contains means it contains carotenoids, tocopherols, tocotrienols, and saponins. So these are all the isoprenoid derivative classification based on the nature. So next one is the phenolic substances. These are all the called secondary metabolites which have a secondary functions, which means it refers to if we have 100% of workload, the secondary metabolites performs only alone the 45%. So remaining percentage of work is performed by the primary metabolites. So phenolic substances comes under the category secondary metabolites. The base for this is very diverse family of molecule is a phenol ring. So it is the basic formation ring is the phenol ring for phenolic substances. From the structure, larger and interesting molecules are formed, such as, so what are all the bioactive components produced from the phenolic substances, or it contains means anthocyanins, coumarins, phenylpropamides, flavonoids, tannins, lignin, which help in oral mechanism of the body. So these are all the classification based on the nature of nutraceuticals. Fatty acid and structural lipids. These include omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acid found in higher concentration in plants, fish and other marine animals, and conjugated linoleic acid produced by bacteria in the lumen of grazing animals such as cattle. Conjugated linoleic acid is found mostly in fat and milk of ruminant animals, which indicates that beef, dairy foods, and lamb are major dietary sources. So these are the classification based on the nature. And the carbohydrate derivatives, the glucose derivatives, ascorbic acids, is perhaps one of the most recognizable nutraceutical substances and is very popular supplement. So when we think about the nutraceutical supplements, glucose derivatives and ascorbic acid are the most popular among the people. So these are all the primary nutraceuticals and are considered as the most popular nutraceutical among the people. Several plant polysaccharide families are all not readily available energy sources for humans as they are resistant to segregated digestive enzymes. So these polysaccharides are grouped together along with phenolic polymer compound lignin to form one of the most recognizable nutraceutical families called fiber. So next one is the amino acid base classification of nutraceuticals, and this group has the potential to interact proteins, polypeptide, amino acids, and nitrogenous and sulfur amino acid derivatives. So among these amino acids, ornithine and aspartic acid has a vasodilating property, that is the dilation of the muscle fibers. So it enables the blood flows easily without creating any imbalance in the blood pressure level. So that is called a vasodilating property. Meanwhile, the non-protein amino acid taurine may also have blood pressure lowering properties as well as the antioxidant roles. So meanwhile, the taurine, which is considered as a non-protein amino acid, so it plays a crucial role in controlling the blood pressure as well as it plays a simultaneous role as antioxidant. So next one is the mineral classification of nutraceuticals based on the nature. Several minerals have been recognized for their nutraceutical potential and thus become a candidate for functional food recipes. So among the most obvious is calcium with relation to bone health, colon cancer, and perhaps hypertension and cardiovascular disease. A couple of trace elements have been reported to have nutraceutical potential, and these include copper, selenium, manganese, and zinc. The nutraceutical potential is usually discussed in relation to antioxidation. So copper, zinc, and manganese are components of superoxide dismutase enzymes, while selenium is a component of glutathione peroxidase. So the final classification of nutraceuticals is the microbes. So prebiotics and probiotics are classified under these categories. So prebiotics is kind of specialized plant fiber, a non-digestible substance that provide beneficial physiological effect on foods, selectively stimulate the favorable growth or action of a limited number of endogenous bacteria. So probiotic in the sense involves the intact microorganism. It includes the bacteria resistant to acid conditions of stomach, bile and digestive enzyme normally found in the GI tract. So the prebiotic is simply is a kind of plant fiber. Okay, so it serves as the food for the intact microorganism which is called as probiotic. So simply remember that prebiotic is the kind of food source for the probiotic which is the microorganism. Okay. So probiotic are the microorganism which is a beneficial microorganism, stays in your GI tract and supports your absorption or digestion process and enhances the nutrition absorption very well. and it has the resistance to your acidic condition of your stomach. Prefer the potentially the hydrochloric acid which is secreted by your digestive system, which is very acidic, and the probiotic microorganism have a tolerance to survive over that hydrochloric acid and settle in your stomach and grow further and support the absorption very well, and able to colonize human intestine, safe for human consumption, and have scientifically proven efficiency. Among the bacteria species recognized as having a functional food potential are the well-known Lactobacillus salvarius, which is a subspecies of Thermophilus. So far have elaborated the classification of nutraceuticals and functional foods based upon their sources, like animal sources, plant sources, and microbial sources, and also based upon the mechanism of action. Hope this video will help in better understanding and learning. Keep supporting us. Thank you, students. Learn to grow. Thank you.